Hey everybody, Max here, and today I'm going to be taking a look at this Marauders Gunrunner Build-A-Figure. I was introduced to this company. They were at JOEFEST 2025 this past weekend, and they were partnered with they were at this, joined with the Skeletron booth, and I was completely unfamiliar with their company and everything, but they have a series of figures in the 3 3/4 inch scale and similar articulation to the 1/12 scale. So it's interesting seeing that particular, what we're used to as, say, classified, scaled down into the more, traditional 3 3/4 inch line of figures from our childhood. So this is one of their logos. So Marauders, Gunrunners, Modular Mayhem, Ego Sumo. I will throw a link to their website in the description, so take a look at that. This particular figure is completely unique because I built him myself. And so they had you could buy a ticket and then you go around to the other side of the booth and they have these huge amount of trays. You pick your body, you pick your head, and you pick all of the different gears that you want. So they had different types of skin tones, different types of looks, different types of camo patterns. They didn't quite have the one that I wanted. I was looking for like a figure that they had on display that had sleeves rolled up, long sleeves rolled up to the forearm. They didn't have that one, so I went with this guy, this particular base body here with the yellow t-shirt and the camo. And I kind of decided to try and build a kind of my own version of Outback, I guess. Now, I like Outback from Classified. He was my first Classified figure. Outback has always been one of my favorite characters. He's a big burly redhead. I am a redhead, but I'm not big and burly, so I wanted to kind of recreate that. My hair has never been this orange, but I have a goatee and not a beard. But anyway, I thought it was cool. I had to represent the redhead, so I got a red-haired guy, and they had lots of different. They had red hair, red-haired beard, but bald head, red head with out sunglasses. So lots of different options. And this as an aside, when I was building this guy, who should walk up next to me and start taking a look at the display but Larry Hama himself. His booth was across the aisle, and I guess he had been walking around and was coming back, and he stopped in to look, and I got to talk to him for a little bit more, so that was cool. I was busily building my figure, and I turned to my left, and who should be standing there but Larry Hama. So I had already visited him several times during the convention. So anyway, that was pretty cool. And but there was so much stuff to pick and choose from. They had a number of weapons that you could choose from, bladed weapons, packs, vests, that sort of thing. And the guys behind the booth, I mean, they pretty much just let me pick whatever I wanted and gave me a bunch of extra. It may take a little bit to get through all of this, but obviously I got the red-haired guy with a boonie hat, and that was another thing that you could pick. You could pick do-rags and helmets and caps and things, and I wanted to go with the boonie hat. I've always liked them myself, and so it fits very snugly on the figure. I initially picked so I've got him displayed with the M16 and the M203, which is just cool. I've just always liked that. But I initially picked the Keltec KSG-12 shotgun, and I gotta say, in this scale, the detail is fantastic. It looks like the real deal. And so I picked a shotgun, so a bullpup shotgun, and then they said, "Oh yeah, get another one." So I got a Benellian 4 in the tactical configuration. So that is pretty cool. And then through the course of talking to the guys behind the counter, they just said, pick another one. So I found this guy. They had a lot of AK-47s, but and I think this might have been the last one, so I had to grab this M16 with the grenade launcher. So that was cool. Let's see, magazine does not drop out. Comes with a backpack. This is one of the backpacks that they had, and lots of peg holes all the way around. And so I could pick bladed weapons and different blades, knives, and things like that. But I thought, I'm kind of trying to create it's almost like my cross between Outback and Muskrat. So, because Muskrat is also one of my favorite characters as well. And I'm hoping that we get him in Classified before long. So I got this guy with a machete, and they had this nice little holder for it that you can peg into the side. And there's so many holes, peg holes in all of this, so you can just mix and match. It's really, I mean, the it's just kind of endless possibilities for display options and everything. So got a really nice stand, so that was nice. Got a few C4 pouches or packs that I've got on his legs because they're, you can do that. They also on the thigh and on the ankle. So that's cool, and they fit fairly snug. They're some I've had to kind of, I may have to kind of trim down a little bit to get them to fit in properly. I like this particular vest. I've got these little stripper clips, I guess of like 5.56, and on there, and also had some shotgun shells, but these are not fitting as well. But I tried having them displayed here. They're kind of falling out a little bit, so I may have to find a different way to display them. But yeah, and then there's a ammo pouch here that pegs out, so that's cool. And you have peg in the back of the figure for the backpack, obviously, and then two holes here in the vest, and more pouches, more pouches, more pouches. And the vest, it has two points. You know, you lock it in to I want to say keep want to say straps, um, but anyway, it gosh, I can't think. So anyway, here's the vest, and it, I guess, lashing points, latching. They're not really pegs, but anyway, it's so it may. I'm sorry, I'm completely off camera. So it might be a little rough. The plastic's a little rough in some places with the fastening and everything, fasteners and everything. But for the most part, you may have to trim a little bit, but for the most part, it does snap in fairly easily. But it's formed so well that even if you can't, it maintains its shape. And it's obviously a tan plastic with green paint, camo paint, brown, black, and came out really well. The detail's pretty good. This little strap on the top, I'm probably going to trim down because I added a little neckerchief to this guy, and it kind of gets in the way a little bit. So that was another thing that you could add. So this is kind of the base body with nothing else on it. And so there's the vest. Gosh, so much stuff. So many pouches. They just gave me a bag and just started loading it up. So pouch after pouch after pouch. And let's see. Oh, and I haven't put this guy on yet. So I have a belt and drop leg holster. And I'm going to have to take off one of the legs to get this guy on because it does not peg apart. So I'm going to have to take off one of the legs, but I got a pistol for it, and I like this one. This is also one of those pistols that they were kind of running out of. They had a lot of German Lugers, like World War II stuff, but this was looks like a USB compact from H&K. So trying to get that in the light better for you. But I like the detail on it, and it's got an extended barrel for like a suppressor. I didn't see any like suppressors, but they said if it didn't fit in the holster, just trim off the peg and the barrel, and I probably will. So, but it fits in very snugly, just like so. And yeah, I need to get this guy, get this harness on the figure as soon as possible because I think that will look really cool. And green plastic with some tan, more holes, and holds the weapons very well. Let's see, I picked up this kind of like little heat sensor device, and they also gave me this extra pouch. So I've got this little jack sack for Jack Bauer from 24. And does it fit in? It does not fit completely in, but it would, yeah, it closes. The handle sticks out. So, and it closes fairly easily. The pegs go into the holes fairly well, and they're flexible. You may have to kind of pinch it at the top to kind of get it to fold and crease and everything so it'll stay in shape, stay in. But even more peg holes for more display options. So this is cool and pretty good detail there as well. You can tell there's some striations like it in the leather. I mean, it's sculpted to look like leather, and So even in this size, there's detail on the strapping, the clasps, the holes in the strap, and the leather. So that's great. And let's see, you saw the machete, but the very first thing, the very first bladed weapon that I picked up was, this guy. So I don't know, something about, yeah, this guy, wilderness guy, he might need an axe, machete to cut the brush, and axe to cut the trees, but also if he needs to go silent on somebody. So tactical axe. And I was surprised to see that it came a with its own holster, and M for Marauder, but also M for maximum warp. So it fits in very snugly. And this is a very solid plastic. There's a little give to it, but it is very sharp. It's pokey. So I would not give this to a little kid. Some kid is going to hurt themselves with that for sure. So I thought that was awesome. And let's see. And then some more straps or more pouches, and pouch after pouch after pouch. So yeah. So, and I apologize if I keep going off camera. This is a little, because these are smaller figures, I'm having to get adjusted to, where my hands are and where to display them and everything. It's easier with the 6-inch. So yeah, so articulation is actually really close to what we're used to with, say, classified. And he gets a really good T-pose. No butterfly joint, but his arms go all the way around. There is some chipping in the paint around the shoulder joints in the yellow, but there's that. Single jointed elbows, but they do have the rotating. They do rotate around. So if you're familiar with Black Series or some of the older female figures from Marvel Legends, it's like that. And there is a horizontal hinge in the wrist. There's wrist articulation. It rotates all the way around, and it goes up and down. So that comes in handy. So on my Rooster video, I was speculating as to whether or not this scale figure could have that type of articulation, and the answer is yes. So now, granted, the mechanics of this figure is a lot different than, say, Rooster, because this is more of a, it's almost, I hesitate to say vintage, but it's to reminisce, or to resemble the mechanics of our old school G.I. Joe original, American hero, the real American hero figure. So this is in no way dogging, it's just a comparison. I'm not saying that this is bad compared to this one. There's some pros and cons to both, but this, I do like the fact that this scale figure can have wrist articulation. So excuse me. So no diaphragm cut or anything, but there's a waist swivel, and so you get a little bit of a forward bend. There's no neck. This is a solid neck, so he doesn't really look up very well. You may have to, or I may have to, like bevel out some material in there, but it's a fixed neck on a ball joint, and so he can look forward, lean forward that far and go back that far. So inside to side, he's got that, and legs splits. So that's great. I do like that quite a bit, and he does kick up a lot further than, say, our Rooster figure here. So that's cool. Pinned knees. I honestly, and just this moment, I just now noticed that it had pins. I thought it was pinless. It was almost, they're so well painted that I almost didn't even notice. It blends in so well. So the knees are pinned. And a little stiff, and he kicks back that far. No thigh swivel or anything. No drop down hip or anything like that. But there is a ankle swivel, so I was surprised to see that as well. And then we have foot articulation, so he can go down, and not much forward, but back or down is pretty good. So some material maybe needs to be cut out right here to get a little more forward bend. So just be aware of that if you decide to get one of these figures. So yeah, that is the articulation for our Marauder, Build-A-Marauder figure. I haven't quite come up with a name or decided on a name for this guy, but I'm thinking Bushrat might be a good one. and just kind of not necessarily combining outback and muskrat, but I don't know, bushrat sounds just kind of came to me like, oh, that sounds like a cool figure, or a cool name for a figure. So yeah, so that is Bushrat, my Build a Marauder from Marauder Gun Runners line. So were you at Joe Fest? Have you did you pick up one of these guys? Have you ever ordered from the website? Have you seen them at other cons, perhaps? What does yours look like? You know, hey, hit me up on Instagram. Take a look there and let me know. Send me a follow. And I don't know if you can share that or not, but that would be cool if you could. I'd love to see your examples of your unique Build-A-Figure. So yeah, this was kind of a cool little thing to do while I was at the con, and I'm glad I did it and happy to share it with you guys. So that is Bushrat. Let me know what you think in the comments section. I'm going to give this guy a warp factor of 8. Just the guys behind the counter were very cool, very nice. The materials, the detail, and everything is really good. And I wish him well with this particular line. I don't know. Well, it says here, I think. Well, I think on the website it says the company's been around for about 20 years. So yeah, and I know they have a lot of offerings. I saw a number of examples, some that look like John Wick, others that look like other characters from different movies. So yeah, check them out. Marauder, I think it's marauderinc.com, but I could be wrong. Check out the description and I'll post a link there. So yeah, Warp Factor of 8, guys. Thanks for listening, and I will talk at you next time. Continue to be awesome.